Hey all, this is Val here with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. In today's video, finally, the masses can be calmed. I'm reviewing Rona. Alright, so this has to be the number one unit of all time. Every time I bring up Kiva and someone goes, this is what always happens. Hey, I think Kiva's the best surfer in the game. Who's Kiva? And I'm like, oh yeah, the water esper. And they're like, why don't you have a Rona? I'm like, because I love Kiva. I love Kiva. Building Ronas feel like I'm cheating on Kiva. But enough of that. Let's go into it and do what we do. All right. So her auto attack skill Hex fires a bolt of chaotic magic at an enemy from a distance. Bonus damage based on AC. And as you can see here, I mean, there's really no theme so far. I mean, precision, right? Because she doesn't do anything special here. It's just precision. I mean, you got bonus damage based on accuracy. Literally, if someone tried to build on this, you could build whatever the hell you want. Like, it's like there's nothing going on here. Absolutely nothing. Okay, let's go to the first active skill, Bad Omen, where things start to happen. Sends a crow swooping around the battlefield, damaging up to 3 enemies. Each hit removes 1 buff from the enemy and inflicts ongoing damage if a buff was removed. If enhanced, gains life stealing and hits 5 enemies. Has multiple charges if ascended. Bonus damage based on accuracy. So here is why everyone wanted me to build her. 4-second strip that drops OGD. So here again, because of ongoing damage and because it's a strip, you're looking at, again, accuracy. She does get bonus damage based off it, but in my experience, the bonus damage here is just poop doodle. It's just not the greatest. So really don't build because you want the bonus damage. Build because you want your strip and your OGD to land. Now, because it is 4-second, adept really it hasn't become an issue. So again, you're really looking at precision, anything. Really anything, honestly, for just from these 2 skills, because all you really need to focus on if you just look at these 2 is being able to strip and land your debuff, and that is it. You don't even care about the bonus damage because it's just a small multiplier. Well, let's take a look at active skill 2, Noxious Poison. Lobs a potion at target point, breaks shields on affected enemies, damages them, and inflicts mortal wounds. If enhanced, the splash is larger, bonus damage based on accuracy. Again, we've got a 10-second cooldown, so adept really isn't becoming a big issue. Plus, you get some cooldown reduction here. The cool thing is the potion does break shields, so now we're getting into PvP. Actually, both of these are excellent PvP abilities. You don't really care that it drops OGD in PvP. What you do care is that it's reliably stripping in PvP on skill 1. And then here in skill 2, you care that it's going to mortal wound and it's going to break shield. So this is super, super awesome for PvP. But really, we're still not talking about a set other than precision and accuracy everywhere you can get it. Really doesn't matter just from these 3. Now, when we're going to finally seal the deal for Adept is on skill 3, or the ultimate as some people call it, Sinister Ritual. Sacrifices 10% of her current HP to reset all of her skill cooldowns and enhances her skills for several seconds. This raises attack and grants her skills bonus effects. So here's how you get your bonus effects. Now this is on a 32-second cooldown. This is super awesome. This makes all this other stuff, this makes this area of effect larger, which is very helpful in PvP. Then you come down here. This actually adds life stealing and hits 5 enemies. So it's like, okay, this thing is freaking awesome. Plus she gets an attack up buff. So now you're like, all right, now I have to go Adept. So this seals the deal for Adept, not so much for these skills, but for this. It's just you want this up as much as you can possibly get it in all game modes, PvP and PvE alike. So you do want to go Adept, Precision, or Adept, anything that gets you to your stat goals. But yeah, and then lastly, her synergy trait increases accuracy of allied champions by 22%. Now let's go ahead and take a look at her gear. I obviously went Adept Precision. Actually, this happened over an hour and a half on one of my streams. I think it was the Monday or Sunday stream. I'm not sure which one. But it was one of those 2 where I was like, hey, let me just lock a Rona. Then I ended up getting it a 5-star in like the first like 5 minutes. Then I was like, well, let me just look at the gear just to get something in place. And that turned into an hour and 40 minutes of me going through gear, trying to find what we had. Okay, long story. Let's take a look at the gear. So here is what I went with. I went with attack, crit rate, attack, because my goal was to get my accuracy in substats, so I didn't have to go accuracy bracer, and she could just do a little bit more damage. I still have work to do on a chest. You guys know me. I believe HP is awesome, and it is worth the investment to go to plus 15 on the chest. If I'm going too fast for the stats, go ahead and pause the video and take a look. So all this amounted to the stats here. We've got almost 2k HP, which is just not very good for PvP. I built her more for PvE, although I do plan on using her in PvP. She has 700 defense. Again, I mean, not that great. I prefer like 850 plus. We've got 81% crit rate. I'm so not happy about this. I'm really not happy about this. Because in my fervor, or I can't remember which one it would be to get accuracy, I forgot to focus on crit rate. Which made, then I was like, well, then why am I focusing on crit damage? So I gave up on crit damage. We got 1300 attack. We've got 73 crit damage. And we got 91% accuracy. I really don't like these two numbers, the crit rate or the accuracy. But really, if you want to use her in PvP, the max HP and the defense have to go up. You can sacrifice all this other stuff in PvP. The reason why is, yes, she will do great damage in PvP, built like this, but you need her to survive. This is just paper right now, right? So if someone, you have her like on AD, which she is just really awesome on AD, like people are just going to burn her down. Like the first ult on any BM, or an ult from Ink Ninja, even an ult from Vamp, or not their ult, but the skill 2, which is a damage, will be able to likely one-shot her, especially if all 3 rotations of the Vamp skill 2 hit her. Like, it's going to hurt. This is going to hurt. So even Astromancers, especially if they have a slow and they start ignoring defense, are going to hurt her. So if you are going to go PvP, don't care about any of this other stuff. If you're going PvP, you want her on PvP D, then you want to go max HP, defense, and accuracy. Everything else is nice, you know, to have, because she can do damage if you build her as such, but you need her to live on AD, so she can be as annoying as hell, and she is. The jackpot is to get everything, right? So you get your HP, you get your defense, you get your accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, and attack, but good luck. Because a build like that would mean you would need to get your crit rate and accuracy all in substats. And that's just like, whoo, that is a tall freaking order. Because if you can do that, then you can go crit damage gloves, and you can go attack shoulders and attack bracer. Because you've got your crit rate and your accuracy all in substats. But that's a rough build. It's not impossible, but it is very, very unlikely. All right, enough about the stats. Enough about the stats. We know. Okay, so let's take her into SW10. So to test her against, now this was just a fun comp I was messing with on stream the other day. But really, I want to see if I can build a team with Kiva, and then with Rona, to see really, to put this to bed, like who actually is the best. So the problem is, since Kiva is a tank and Rona is really kind of a DPS, I'm trying to make the team as fair as I can to both of them. But first, before I forget, let's set this. Let's think about this. How do we make this fair? Because all we want to replace is this unit with the other stripper, to give a comparison. Because I mean, I had to do it this way because everyone's like, she's just so much better than her. She's just so much better. So it's like, all right. I hear you. Let's see if she's better. Even if it runs a little long, I'm okay with it. So let's just bring some reassurance that it's gonna live, and then let's try to make it as free to play possible, as free to play friendly as possible. We need damage in here. Who could we throw in that everyone has easy access to?
A few moments later.
This is it. Let's just go. All right, let's hit auto, And then we'll target, we already got her target awesome because she's the leader. I really think this is going to favor Rona a little bit more with Sigrun in there, but I can't think of who we could take out for Sigrun that's neutral. That's also not a stripper, right? Because also we want to see how well each of them strip. I think it's going to be equal because if you take a look at Kiva, her strip is up every time you see this, and it just pulses. Every time that pulses, she strips something. Every single time you see her lightning shield pulse, that's a strip. And it's up fairly often because I did build her on with attack speed, so that way she can keep that up. You see the little lightning? Each one of those shocks is a strip, and that looks to be more than 5 strips too, considering that Rona is only going to do it 5 times, I think, if I understand her skill. But she might do it more, so don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, just leave that in the comments, actually, because I don't want to give out bad info. So far, look at this. We don't have the shield. We couldn't even see it, just like Rona. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, that's not unique to her. Okay, we've got... All right, look at that. Insta. Very good, Kiva. We're not really looking at times. We're just looking at efficiency in strips, which is really hard to tell, right? I mean, there could be a lot of things that happen that make a debuff stay up longer, even with the best strippers, right? It really could go either way. But so far, as always, Kiva is not disappointing me. And, of course, Amethyst and Kai Wenji putting in work, making sure that we're good. I mean, it is a slow run. It definitely is slow. But the point is that you could run this team fairly easy in a free-to-play comp, and you would be good. Kiva would be, oh, man, Kiva's a much better stripper than Zinnia because, I mean, you have to pull her, right? Zinnia's free. But Kiva doesn't derp. And if she derps, like, the buff is up for maybe half a second, and then she strips it. Whereas when Zinnia derps, it just sucks. So either way, both of these strippers are going to be better than Zinnia. Either way. Okay, so now, think about it, though, guys. Okay, so if this run should be faster, because first off, like, I mean, come on. She's DPS. She has 1300 attack. And let's see, Kiva isn't even an attack unit, so it doesn't matter. She could have freaking 12,000 attack, and she's still gonna suck, right? Well, okay, that's an over exaggeration, but you get the idea. This run should be faster, like significantly. I don't even remember what the last one was. 150, something like that, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. All right, here we go. I probably should have moved her from the middle slot, right? That's all right. Kai Wenji and Amethyst should be able to keep her up. This is going to be, I think it's going to be significantly faster. Just because we're adding, like, she does way more DPS than Kiva does. Yeah, look at that. Like, way more DPS. Now, I did also, another thing that she has going for her, skill ups, obviously, are a lot easier to get. I think I'm only missing 5 or 4 skill ups on her for her to be max skilled. And Kiva only has, like, 1 or 2 skill ups in her. So, and none of the skill ups help stripping for either one of them, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Kiva gets any additional lightning pulses, but she pulses like 7 or 8 times. So, I mean, that's highly effective. I really like her in PvP because you can, even if they have an extremely buff heavy team, now it will only strip 1, right? Because the lightning pulse will hit random things around her, but it will strip. So here we go. Like, already we're doing more damage, and plus, I mean, this is, I really think it's going to be quicker. So for that reason, now if you're saying, okay, Val, I get that both of them are excellent strippers and that they make sure the shield isn't up, but if you run Rona, it is going to increase your speed. So in that, I can't argue it, because just look, it's already significantly faster. Even if Kiva had skill ups, I mean, it really isn't going to matter. Even if she has skill ups, it's not going to matter. And unlike Kiva, she's a lot easier to pull. So based off that, guys, so too bad it's flat stat. So based off that, right, just based off the fact that this team right here is much easier to put together than a Kiva team. You can build Kai Wenji, and this Sig Run you get for free by doing your missions. Monis you can pull from Common Disc. Rona you can pull from Common Disc. Amethyst you can't pull from common disc, but Zircon, its counterpart, is available everywhere, and you can get it even out of the black market. So this team is way easier to put together just because you don't have to hope for a laser. Like, you're just good. You're just good with this team, and it's faster. So to everyone's point, okay, who wanted me to build her just to demonstrate this, which was obvious because she's a DPS. Now, if I took Sigrun out and made her the sole DPS, then the times would even out. But it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be a fair comparison, because who else would I put in this slot that wouldn't benefit her and still give her the edge? Because if I threw a Wonga in there, Wonga's going to give an attack up buff, which she's going to benefit from. Plus she had, I mean, it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair at all. So I can't really think of a way to take out this DPS and not give something that favors her heavily. We could go additional sustain. Let's do that. Let's just do that, because we have 2 DPS here versus 1 in the other one. So we'll put in her. Now let's see how the times look, right? Because we'll admit, in that team, right? In that team with 2 DPS, it was faster than a team with 1 DPS, right? I mean, that was pretty much obvious. So we'll do it this way. And I'm thinking the times are going to pretty much equalize right here. I think they're going to be very similar now, with only Rona pulling it up. Now, this team, though, would be harder to make. I think if you were doing this, likely this wouldn't be a Yutsuko. It would be a Zinnia, would be right here. So, and Zinnia is super easy to get, way easier to get than Yutsuko. So you would be running Rona. Oh, well, you'd be running this team just with Yutsuko. I don't know why I was going to freaking, like, name it out. You can see it right here. But just, you'd have Zinnia. And this would be a perfectly easy, super, I mean, good team, right? Because you've got Rona doing your DPS, and you got, like, so much sustain. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks the boss is ever going to kill you. It's just like, I mean, I can't, it would have to go catastrophically wrong, right? Like, I mean, catastrophically wrong for you to die in this team. It's just, I mean, you've got Magical Girl save. You've got just Diva, an excellent all-around healer. She's also debuffing the damage you take. You've got Amethyst, so you don't have to worry about OGD. Wow, this team is actually still extremely fast. It is still, like, the clear time for wave clear went down, but the boss killing time is roughly almost the same. So, yeah, a good 14 seconds faster, because I think it was like 145, 150. So still, even with a single DPS, very heavy sustain, Rona wins out, right? She's just going to... So if you're concerned about speed clears, which, you know, I'm not. But if you are, a lot of people in the community are, and I don't fault anyone for that. There's nothing wrong with liking your quick speed clears. Nothing at all. So if you want that, Rona is definitely the way to go over Kiva. She's just a really good 3-star. You look at her damage. I mean, it just looks good. It just looks good. And you can't even say it was she OGD'd her way to victory. She only has 7 seconds. Mine's at 53 seconds. This is just straight up damage. Her self-attack buff really helps with that. So, I mean, again, I admit it. Rona is a better... I want to say stripper, because the stripping, they're both fine. Like, stripping is going to be equal. Both of them are equal. Neither one of them let the buff stay up for too long. However, she's an actual DPS unit, so she has the edge in it. Now, is that how Gameloft wants it? Do they want a 3-star that much better than a 4-star? Granted, Kiva will take a beating way better than Rona will, but you bring sustain, and just as you saw here, you get faster clear times, and it's just as safe as a Kiva team. So let's back out here, kind of wrap up my thoughts now that we did 2 runs, or 3 runs in total. So we'll take a look here. Let's go to champs, and we'll take one final look at her. So overall, if you are free to play, you did not get a Kiva, or if you're free to play and you just happen to pull a stripping Esper, and you also have a Rona sitting around, and you are very concerned about clear times, and you want to have a really good PvP or arena AD unit, then Rona wins hands down. She's going to be a quicker clear than your Kiva. She's also going to bring just greatness to both your PvE and PvP sides of the team. Kiva is still a good unit. She strips just as well as Rona does, but unfortunately she cannot provide the DPS that Rona does, which kind of puts her under it for stripping, which is really where for overall. Stripping, they're equal. They're absolutely equal. I didn't have any issues. I'm assuming Rona will perform the same way in PvP when I test her out there. But I would actually, from this point going forward, recommend Rona over Kiva, which honestly just breaks my heart to say. I mean, because Kiva is just a great unit. She is a really great unit. But I am going to be 6-starring my Rona. I really like what I'm seeing here. And I'll start using her more. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If I missed something in the comparison, or you felt that the SW10 teams weren't really a good comparison, you'd like me to try out some other builds, please let me know in the comments down below. And you know I do it, right? Because Rona is here because of you guys. Like, I was very, very, very resistant to building her, but I did, and I do see everyone's point. She is a really, really good unit. Thank you all for watching, and as always, all you dudes and dudettes out there, stay frosty.